Hey, Magnus here, and today's video we're gonna explore the top 5 reasons to choose the GH5 over the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera and vice versa. Why choose the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K over the GH5? So we're gonna compare those two and see what we come up with. Check it out. Behind you with like the clouds, the sky and everything, and still be able to we've got the Rode video mic. Here we go. M50. What do you guys think? Alright, so if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. I talk about cameras such as DSLR and mirrorless cameras for video purposes mostly. Sometimes photography, but mostly video. So please consider subscribing and hit that like button. Thank you. So anyway, on with the video. Now, first of all, it's been kind of scarce that I've put out these videos recently. I've been doing some summer shoots. It seems that when the summertime comes along, you start getting a lot busier with video work, which is great for me, but it also sometimes detracts from uploading to this channel, but that's fine because I'm still dedicated to this channel. And even recently, I had an experience where I had to troubleshoot a situation where one of my cameras failed during a live production, and I still picked it up pretty quickly by having another backup camera available that I didn't even plan for. So anyway, on to the crux of this video. So the GH5 and the GH5S are excellent cameras for stills, but the GH5 is better known for its video production capabilities in that small mirrorless body. So it's a great micro four thirds camera. But then out comes the Pocket Cinema 4K from Blackmagic, and that camera actually is pretty comparable. It uses a micro four thirds mount so that you can pretty much use the same lenses on both cameras, but Blackmagic's camera specifically is designed almost exclusively for video. Though you could take pictures with it, it's almost exclusively for video, and that's what Blackmagic is known for. But when choosing between the two cameras, which one's right for you? Now, I'm going to tell you what I believe are the top 5 reasons to choose one over the other, but when it comes to the final decision of what you're going to use for video, I firmly believe that's based on your needs. Whatever you would want to use these cameras for would really depend on what your needs, your niche is, and of course, what you prefer better, one over the other. So, alright, let's get started. Top 5 reasons to choose the GH5 over the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera. Reason number 5 is the photography camera features. Now, the GH5 is pretty much built as a hybrid camera, so you should be able to take pretty good, if not amazing, stills on the GH5 as well as capture incredible video. So the GH5 gives you the ability to do 6K photos. It takes incredibly high megapixel photos as well, and it's very versatile. Now the GH5S has a much less megapixel count for photos, but then that one is geared more towards video. But I'm talking about the regular GH5 here and its ability to take photos, and it is an amazing photography camera as well as video. Number 4, low light performance. Now the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera has not come out yet, but at least from the specs list, it's got a cap of just over 25,000 for ISO levels, where the GH5 and the GH5S, especially the GH5S, is a low light monster king, where you can actually bump up those ISO levels. And the performance of the ISO levels on the GH5S obviously destroy the GH5, but it's built for that. It's built for its low light performance, whereas Blackmagic might not be a camera that you'd want to use without great lighting situations or scenarios. Blackmagic hasn't released that Pocket Cinema 4K camera yet, but I do believe that when it does get released, it's probably not going to be the best in low light situations. Number 3 reason to choose the GH5 over the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K. How many times can I say that? So the number 3 reason is definitely the file sizes. The GH5 uses an H.264 compression. It allows you to save 4K videos in a very excellently compressed file size. You can do 10-bit at 150 megabits per second, or if you want to push up that quality and get a better, not a better compression, but a better video quality out of your compression, you can go as high as 400 megabits per second for 10-bit video. Now that in itself is amazing for the GH5, and in such small file sizes where you can get multiple hours of recording off of an SD card, or taking advantage of the dual card slots that the camera has, and you can record for up to hours with not an issue. The number 2 reason to choose the GH5 over the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K is definitely that flip screen. Now, Blackmagic has stated that their Pocket Cinema 4K camera was pretty much built so that you can do selfie on it, but it didn't have any sort of flip screen, and you kind of have to just trust the fact that you are looking at yourself when you have the camera. Just look at the lens and then pray for the best. But the composition is a lot easier to handle with the GH5 thanks to the simple addition of a flip screen. And a flip screen can mean all the difference when vlogging or doing any selfie style video, because it makes you take control of your composition as you record yourself. And the number 1 reason to choose the GH5 is definitely the in-body image stabilization. When recording video, if you've got a Lumix lens that has image stabilization along with the GH5 body that also has sensor stabilization, you combine those together and what you have is an amazingly stable shot as you walk around, especially if you're the type that vlogs and you don't have an expensive rig or setup, like as if you had one of these things kind of walking around everywhere. So if you don't have one of those, then it's definitely nice to have the body bring in-body image stabilization to make your footage look that much cleaner. Now let's flip it around and go to the top 5 reasons why you'd purchase the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K over the GH5. The number 5 reason: the Cinema 4K camera gives you the ability to hook up an external hard drive via its USB-C port and record basically on the go and on the fly, as long as you have some place to put it as you record. Like if you have it on a tripod and you've got everything set up in a rig, you might as well tape that hard drive close to it and then shoot the shot that you have to shoot, or figure out some other sort of solution to be able to record off that USB-C drive. But the amazing thing about that is that once you've recorded all your footage, you can just connect that USB-C hard drive right to your computer and get to editing right away, which is something that can't be said for the GH5 or the GH5S. The number 4 reason to choose the Cinema 4K over the GH5 is the color science. Blackmagic has an amazing color science that really brings out natural skin tones in everything you shoot that I just have not been able to find off the GH5, where I seem to be tweaking in post to get my colors just right to match any of my other cameras and make things look natural. Cinema 4K camera definitely wins on color science. The number 3 reason to choose the Cinema 4K is the 5-inch touchscreen. Now that touchscreen that's 5 inches on the Cinema 4K does not flip out like the GH5, but it has the advantage of being so large. It almost replaces the need to get a monitor to do precise focusing, because that 5-inch screen makes it a lot easier to being able to focus while you're live recording manually. So being able to rely on a screen that is that large and makes the menu guidance and everything very easy to go through is one of the reasons you definitely want to choose the Cinema 4K camera over the GH5 for a professional shoot. And the number 2 reason to choose the Cinema 4K is the ability to record RAW. Now, if you don't know what RAW recording, it's basically like taking digital negatives of every single frame that you record and being able to manually manipulate them in post, giving you the best flexibility when you're recording video. Now, you can get something that allows for some flexibility on the GH5 by using the picture profile of Vlog, which you have to pay a bit additional for to get it. And the fact that it's 10-bit does help a lot when it comes to that flexibility and that color information that you get when you record. But when you record off the GH5, all that footage is really baked into the file. You can't push it too far because it's just not going to have that color information that you need. Whereas when you're recording with the Cinema 4K camera, you're getting all the information that the sensor is collecting, and then when you're editing in post, you can really tweak it to your liking and not have to worry about getting the colors right when you start recording. And the number one reason that I would choose the Cinema 4K camera over the GH5 or the GH5S is price point. Now the GH5 and the GH5S were at release $2,000 and $2,500 respectively, and that type of price point is nothing to shake a stick at. But then when you look at all of the Cinema 4K's ability to do all of these great video features and the price point of just under $1,300, $1,299, is astounding. Not only do you get the camera body for that price, but you also get Blackmagic's editing software, DaVinci Resolve, that total license, which is about $300. And you're getting, if you take that out, you're getting an amazing cinema camera for just about $1,000. So that in itself is pretty much almost half the price of the GH5 and the GH5S with all of these video features. To me, that's a huge selling point to me to get that camera over the GH5 and the GH5S. So what do you guys think? What camera is made for you? Now, my personal take, again, is if you're into photos and videos and you want something that's more of a hybrid camera, my choice would definitely be the GH5 or the GH5S, because you get somewhat the best of both worlds. But if you're just into cinematography and you want the best and lightest camera to meet your filming needs, and you've got the computer power and the hard drive space for it, then I definitely just go straight to the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera, because that seems to be more your style. Unfortunately, that camera's not out yet. It's set to be released in September, but we'll see if there's any production delays and if that gets stalled. And if it gets stalled, then we'll just wait for it. And until then, we've got our GH5 and GH5S to film with. If you have no near-time production needs and you can actually push your production out further, I'd definitely wait for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K. However, if you're into hybrids, then definitely jump to the GH5. But again, what do you guys think? These are just my thoughts, my opinions. I always love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. You can like, share, and as always, make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you guys later. Hit that notification bell too. That way you stay up to date on when I post next time. See ya.